to a GWP weather update. It's Sunday, March 1st, 2026. I'm your host, Jacob Fulmer, and today we're going to be looking at some ongoing wintry weather across the state of Missouri. So we'll go ahead and we'll start off by looking at some of those national weather alerts that we are looking at here, looking at the National Weather Service's national alerts. So we do have those winter weather advisories across northern Missouri, northeastern Kansas, where we've already seen some snow, some sleet, and a little bit of freezing rain that has mixed in as well. We've also got winter weather advisories for the state of Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, and West Virginia, as those areas will be experiencing winter weather as we go into tonight as well as into tomorrow. So again, northern Missouri, mainly north of Interstate 70, that's where we have those winter weather advisories. That's where we could be looking at a couple of inches of snow, a little bit of ice as well. And so that's something that we're going to continue to watch as we go through the remainder of the evening hours, and then eventually this will clear out by tomorrow morning. Taking a look at the current radar that we have, we've got the National Weather Service radar that we are looking at. So that's where we're getting this radar picture. And so you'll notice here that we've had some showers. We've even had some thunderstorms, a little bit of hail across the state of Kansas as well as into Oklahoma. So we've actually had a couple of low-grade severe thunderstorms, as we would call them, as we've had some quarter-size hail, some half-dollar size hail. There was one report of half-dollar size hail, but other than that, it's either been quarter-size hail or smaller. And so the majority of the hail that we had earlier this afternoon was pretty small, and it mainly affected southeastern Kansas. It got a little bit into western Missouri. No hail was reported in Nevada, just some heavy showers and thunderstorms. The majority of the rain has moved out of the Nevada region as of this point in time. As far as Joplin along Interstate 44, we've still got some light showers out there, but the good news is that any of those stronger thunderstorms that we had out there earlier this afternoon, those have weakened. And really, we don't have any lightning at this point in time with some of those thunderstorms. Any of the thunderstorm action that we do have is across southern Florida, where there is one severe thunderstorm warning across that region. But back here in the state of Missouri along Interstate 70, you'll notice that we have some of that heavier precipitation. I was just outside here in Columbia at Mizzou campus, and it was raining pretty heavily outside. So very heavy rain. There was some ponding on the sidewalks, but there was also some sleet and snow that was mixing in. A light dusting of sleet has now been recorded here in Columbia. I have personally observed a dusting of accumulation around the Columbia area, and there's been reports of heavier accumulations just to the north of Columbia. So right around Columbia, that is where we have that rain-snow line, where there has been some sleet mixing in because temperatures have been in the mid to upper 30s, and so that has allowed for a little bit of that sleet to mix in. Anywhere south of Columbia, the majority of this is going to be rain. But again, it has been very heavy at times, but no thunderstorms. So how much in the way of accumulation are we looking at here for snowfall today? Along Interstate 70, there's a few areas that could get maybe like a dusting to a half an inch of accumulation. If you're north of Columbia, you could be looking at upwards of an inch of accumulation. But along this kind of this southern half of this shaded area, we're probably looking at a dusting or less, and that includes here in Columbia. So not a really big deal. We're not expecting this to stick to roadways, although some of those sidewalks, as I did mention, have been getting a little bit slippery out there, especially if it does come at a heavy enough rate. That is certainly a possibility here. As far as that ice, again, a light glaze of ice is going to be possible. And so this was originally for freezing rain and sleet combined, but this is mainly sleet. This is mainly the majority of our ice that we're going to see across Missouri is going to be sleet. And again, it could come down heavy enough at times to where the roadways become just a little bit dangerous. And so you certainly want to be cautious when you're driving out there, when you're walking along those sidewalks, as again, things are going to be a little bit slippery, as a little bit of sleet and snow could accumulate across this area. So let's go forward in time again through the remaining evening hours. We could be looking at a little bit more snow and sleet across the region, potentially adding up to a dusting, maybe a half an inch, 3/4 of an inch are going to be possible as well. And then you'll notice as we go into the daytime hours tomorrow, this will move into Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. That's where we'll have better chances for accumulation. A few showers lingering into the morning hours on Monday. Temperatures will drop into the 30s, and temperatures will still be quite chilly as we go through the daytime hours tomorrow. But then as we go into Tuesday and Wednesday, temperatures will begin to warm up back into the 50s. Eventually, we'll get back into the 60s, maybe even 70s later this week. And so that means that any precipitation that we get after tonight is going to be rain here across the state of Missouri, looking at a little bit of ice further to the north, but not affecting us here in the state of Missouri. And then potentially stronger thunderstorms as we go into Friday. We'll cover that a little bit more in depth as we go into the weather segment of our GWP weekly news, which will be coming back on tomorrow. So we'll go into more detail on that. But just be aware that we're looking at the possibility of several inches of rainfall over the next several days, so some flooding is certainly possible. Well, that is it for today. Again, stay safe. Some of those roads could be slick at times with light sleet and snow accumulations along and north of Interstate 70.